You just looked at a clock. Maybe on your phone. Maybe on a wall. You read the number, understood it instantly, and looked away without a second thought. But the real answer to what just happened is far stranger than a number on a screen. Because you didn't see the time. You built it. There is no clock inside your head. There is no ticking organ, no internal stopwatch quietly counting the seconds of your life. And yet right now, in this exact moment, you feel time passing. You feel it moving forward, smooth and steady, like a river carrying you downstream. That feeling is one of the most convincing illusions your brain has ever produced. Think about the last time you were bored. A slow afternoon. A waiting room. A lecture that would not end. Every minute stretched into something long and thick and heavy. Now think about the last time you were completely absorbed. Lost in a conversation. Deep in a game. Awake at 2 a.m. And suddenly it was 4. Same 60 seconds. Same physics. Wildly different experience. So which one was the real minute? The honest answer is neither. Or both. Because the minute you feel and the minute the universe measures are two completely different things, and your brain has spent your whole life hiding that fact from you. Let's start with something almost nobody notices. When you move your eyes from one point to another, there is a tiny gap. Your eyes flick fast, and during that flick, your vision blurs into uselessness. Your brain, refusing to show you a smear, simply deletes it. It edits the blur out and stitches the two clear images together. But it has to fill the missing time with something. So it borrows from the future. It takes the image your eyes land on and stretches it backward in time to cover the gap. You can catch this happening. Look at a ticking clock, the kind with a second hand. Glance away, then glance back sharply to the hand. For a moment, that first second seems to last too long. The hand seems frozen, hanging in place before it jumps back into rhythm. Scientists call this chronostasis, the stopped clock illusion. Your brain didn't measure that extra time. It manufactured it, backfilled it, and handed it to you as if it had always been real. If your brain can invent a fraction of a second, what else is it inventing? To understand how deep this goes, you have to meet the idea of an internal clock. For decades, researchers believed the brain kept time with something like a metronome, a pacemaker that fired steady pulses, and an accumulator that counted them. More pulses meant more time had passed. The neuroscientist Warren Meck spent years studying this, and he found something unsettling. The speed of that internal pacemaker is not fixed. It is tied to a chemical in your brain called dopamine, the same chemical involved in reward, attention, and excitement. When dopamine rises, your internal clock speeds up. When it falls, the clock slows down. This is why time flies when you're having fun and crawls when you're miserable. It isn't a figure of speech. It's chemistry. Your emotional state is literally rewriting the tick rate of your own sense of time, moment by moment, without ever asking your permission. So here's a strange thought. When people say a day felt long, they don't mean it contained more hours. They mean their brain, for chemical reasons, counted more pulses. The day didn't grow. The counter did. But it gets stranger. Because fear does something to time that feels almost supernatural. You've heard the stories. A car spins out on the highway. A person falls. And afterward they all say the same thing. Everything slowed down. Time stretched. They saw every detail in crisp, unhurried clarity. For a long time, science took this at face value. Fear slows time, people said. But a neuroscientist named David Eagleman refused to accept the story without testing it. So he built an experiment that sounds insane. He took volunteers to an amusement park in Dallas and dropped them from a tower, backward, into a net, in genuine free fall. No ropes they could feel, no safety they could sense in the moment. Real, body-level terror. And on each person's wrist, he strapped a small device that flashed numbers slightly too fast to read under normal conditions. His logic was simple. If fear truly slows down time, if the brain really speeds up to perceive more, then during that terrifying fall, people should be able to read the numbers. They couldn't. Not a single volunteer could read the flashing numbers during the fall. Their perception had not sped up. Time had not actually slowed. So why did they swear it did? Eagleman's answer changes everything. In moments of fear, a part of your brain called the amygdala kicks into overdrive and lays down memories far more densely than usual. Every detail gets recorded. And later, when you look back, your brain reads that unusually thick memory and concludes, this must have taken a long time. The event felt slow only in the rearview mirror. In the moment, it was normal speed. The slowness was written afterward. Read that again, because it's the heart of everything. Your sense of how long something lasted is not measured while it happens. It is reconstructed later, from how much you remember. Time, as you experience it, is a memory trick. This explains one of the strangest paradoxes of being alive. Have you noticed that a boring week feels endless while you're in it, but shrinks to nothing when you look back? And that an exciting vacation flies by, yet feels enormous in memory? This is real, and the writer and psychologist Claudia Hammond named it the holiday paradox. The reason is memory density. A dull week gives your brain almost nothing new to store, so in the moment it drags, but in hindsight there's nothing to fill it, and it collapses. A rich week is packed with new experiences, so it flies by in the moment, but in memory it swells, because it left so much behind. Novelty is the currency your brain uses to measure time. And that has a chilling consequence for your life. When you were a child, everything was new. Your first taste of the ocean. Your first bicycle. Your first true fear. Every day laid down mountains of fresh memory, and so a single summer felt like it lasted a small eternity. But as you age, the world becomes familiar. The days blur into routine. Your brain, seeing nothing new worth recording, stops laying down dense memory. And so the years begin to compress. This is why a year felt endless when you were 7 and vanishes in a blink when you're 40. The clock never changed. Your supply of new experiences did. There's an old observation about this, often traced to a 19th century thinker named Paul Janet. Each year feels shorter because each year is a smaller fraction of the life you've already lived. To a 2-year-old, 1 year is half of everything. To a 50-year-old, it's a sliver. Your time doesn't just feel like it's speeding up. Proportionally, it is. So where does this feeling of time even live in the body? For a long time nobody knew. But a researcher named Mark Whitman proposed something that feels almost poetic. He argued that your sense of time is rooted in your sense of your own body. Deep in your brain sits a region called the insula, which tracks the signals of your physical self, your heartbeat, your breath, the churn of your gut. Whitman's idea is that when you feel time passing, what you're really feeling is your body existing. Time isn't ticking in an abstract clock. It's pulsing in your chest. Which means when you lose track of your body, you lose track of time. Think about being so absorbed in something that you forget you're hungry, forget you're tired, forget you even have a body. In those moments, time doesn't just fly. It disappears. Because the thing that measures it has gone quiet. Now step back and look at the full picture your brain has been hiding. You do not perceive time. You construct it, constantly, from raw materials. From dopamine that sets the speed. From memory that sets the length. From novelty that sets the weight. From your own heartbeat that gives it a home. There is no single clock. There is a committee of processes, all voting, and the smooth flow you feel is just the average of their argument, presented to you as a seamless whole. And here is the part that should stop you cold. Right now, the present moment you think you're living in doesn't actually exist the way you think it does. It takes time, real physical time, for signals to reach your brain and be processed. Sound arrives at a different speed than light. Touch on your foot has farther to travel than touch on your face. If your brain showed you each signal the instant it arrived, the world would be a chaotic, unsensed mess. So your brain waits. It holds incoming information, buffers it, and assembles a single, tidy version of now, then hands it to you. Which means the present you're experiencing is already a construction, stitched together from moments that already happened, delivered on a slight delay. You are always, permanently, living a fraction of a second in the past. And you have never once noticed. The now you feel so sure of is a story your brain tells you after the fact. So what do you do with this? You can't stop the clocks. You can't slow the calendar. But you now know the one lever that actually moves your sense of time. Novelty. New places. New skills. New fears you choose to face. The reason a week of travel feels longer than a month of routine is that you gave your brain something to remember. If you want your life to feel long, you cannot fill it with the same day repeated. You have to give it new days to store. The people who feel like they lived 100 years didn't get more minutes than you. They just refused to let their minutes blur together. So the next time you look at a clock, remember what you're really looking at. Not time itself. Time can't be seen. You're looking at a machine humans built to agree on something none of us can actually feel. The number is real. But the passing, the flow, the weight of the moment, all of that is happening inside you, built by you, and it belongs to no clock on any wall. You just looked at a clock. And now you know you never really saw the time at all. You only ever felt yourself moving through it.